Well, it's heartbreaking to talk to the owners of that inn who described what they had put into building a business that was not just a business, but part of the economic recovery of that region around Hardwick. Or to see with the pride of a former mayor who loves new infrastructure assets, the brand spanking new bridge that was part of the gravel trail that we saw that was torn in half by the power of those floodwaters. It's a reminder of the extreme nature of the weather events that are happening more and more often, and the human impact of what happens here.
Well, I just think looking at this, 'cause this is just built, and you look at that bridge in itself is old.
Of course, it's important to note that Vermont has endured two storms that would be called once-in-a-century events in the span of just 12 years. It feels like every few weeks we see a new flood, storm, heat wave, drought. It's not lost on me that our skies are hazy because of wildfires that are of a nature and severity that should not be an annual event, and yet here we are. Americans are seeing the results of climate change with our own eyes and dealing with the consequences. Well, there's no question that this is not only costing taxpayers through the federal government, but it's costing the homeowners and the business owners. Even if 100% of them knew that they would be made 100% whole financially, which is far from certain, there would still be the upheaval and the disruption that so many people are facing. And it's really remarkable that there was not more loss of life, and that too is a credit to first responders. So we see the very impacts and harms that we've been warned about for some time upon us right now. The question is, how are we going to respond? For transportation, it means making sure transportation is less of a contributor to the problem for the future, which is why we're building smarter and greener for the future. But it's also just facing reality and knowing that these things are happening whether we acknowledge them or not, and designing and building in ways that incorporate that and make us stronger so that you don't have to deal with it in the ways that we have been forced to in the years leading up to this point.
I mean, so this we want to mitigate the.
Look, we can't go into the future requiring communities to put everything back exactly the way it was if a 100-year flood is about to become an annual event. If your road gets washed out and we have you put it right back the way it was and then it gets washed out again, are we really going to repeat that? And the idea of programs like Protect is to build smarter and to prepare this infrastructure for the future. We don't have time to get caught up in political and ideological debates about this. It is upon us now, and we need to respond now.